Hello, Braze. I'm here with Terry Conti. She's been at Indian Hill for 33 years. She's an athletic trainer, and she works for Beacon Orthopedics, and she's here to talk about AEDs with us. So, Terry, what is a AED?
An AED is basically an automated external defibrillator. What it is, it's just a portable electronic device that we use to shock a heart. It can analyze the rhythm of a heart, and if it needs a shock, it will go ahead and do that to shock it back into normal rhythm. So in combination with CPR, it's the best chance of a person's survival. And we have many of them around the high school and middle school campuses. And after this presentation, we're going to show you exactly where they're going to be.
Okay, so how do they work?
Okay, so first of all, I just wanted to show how different they are. We have all kind of different models that we have around, and it's only because they were bought at different times. Some of them come just on their own with the pads on the back. Some of them actually come with a bag with them that has everything in there, a face mask, gloves, a razor, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But everything is in here to be able to use the AED. The AED is probably one of the easiest things you'll ever use because it's voice prompted. So you don't have to do anything. Once you turn it on, it's going to tell you exactly what you're going to do. Okay? So Mrs. Hoyer, our high school nurse, was generous enough to let me use one of the AEDs here. And what I'm going to do is just do a sample of what we do. Now I have to take this off because we're going to put training pads in.
Plug-in pads connector.
So I'm going to plug in the pads.
Training pad.
And these are training pads. And what you...
If this is an emergency, unplug training pads and plug in defibrillation pads. Press the flashing blue button to choose training scenario. Scenario 2.
Okay, we're going to choose scenario 2. It doesn't really mean anything, but I'm going to hit on.
Remove clothes from patient's chest.
So basically, we've removed the clothes. I have an example
Peel white
of the
pads
body.
From gray plastic case.
So,
attach pads to bare skin exactly as shown.
So on the pads, it actually tells you where to place it. So this one is in the upper right.
Clothes from patient's chest.
And it's just going to keep repeating that. Make sure that the chest is
Peel
dry.
white pads from gray plastic case.
And you're also going to use the razor.
Pads to bare skin exactly as shown.
And if it's a hairy chest, you want to go ahead and shave it because the pads have to be, and this one says on the lower one.
On the white adhesive pad.
Okay.
Stay clear of patient.
Very important. Stay clear of patient.
Heart rhythm.
It's analyzing a heart rhythm.
Stay clear of patient. Analyzing heart rhythm. Shock advised. Stay clear of patient. Press the flashing orange button now.
So I'm going to press the orange
Shock
button.
Delivered. Be sure emergency medical services have been called. It is safe to touch the patient. Begin CPR.
So then,
help with CPR, press the flashing blue button.
So I'm just going to turn this off right now. You can see that the pads are in the upper right quadrant and down in the lower left quadrant. If it is a smaller person and those pads are going to touch, you just want to put one on the front and then one on the back of the body.
1 minute, 45 seconds until analysis will resume.
Okay, now it's off. So you want to use these pads when it's a child over the age of 8 and over 55 pounds. And you do this in combination with CPR. So what we do is, say we come across somebody who is unconscious. The first thing we do is survey the scene. And then we go up to them, are you okay, are you okay? So I would say, this is a dummy here. Are you okay, are you okay? They're unconscious. Someone call 911, someone get me the AED. If I'm by myself, I call and get the AED first. With a child, you do 1 minute of care and then do the opposite. Call and get the AED. But I want to say, so somebody say, Chloe, get the AED for me. So you're going to run get the AED from one of those locations that we have, and I'm going to start CPR on them. I'm going to look, listen, and feel, all the basic CPR stuff that you guys all have to learn before you graduate. And then I'm going to start CPR. Put my hands on the chest, 30 compressions to 2. Then I'm going to continue that until you bring me the AED. Then I'm going to put the pads on, do all of this again, analyze the rhythm, and it will tell me shock advised. So that means it needs to give a shock to bring that heart back into rhythm. after it says okay to touch the patient, it wants me to continue CPR. So I'm going to continue CPR, 30 compressions to 2 breaths, and I'm going to do it a cycle of 5 times, like for 2 minutes. And then it's going to recalculate again. It's going to say step aside, reanalyzing. Okay? And then it's going to do it again and either give a shock or say heartbeat detected or shock, shock not needed. Just monitor to care for the first responders to get there. And then you just keep monitoring them. If you see a sign of life, you just monitor. But if you all of a sudden you don't have a pulse anymore, once this is hooked up, this is going to determine whether there is an electric current or not.
Okay, so do you have anything else you want to add?
All I would say is if you have any questions about AED use, feel free to come to me in the training room, or you can even go to your school nurse, Mrs. Hoyer, or even in the middle school. We're all happy to help.
Well, thank you for coming and telling us about AEDs.
Absolutely. I feel that it's very important.
It is super important. I'm glad that I know that now. All right, stay classy, Indian Hill.